I see it anyway. I will watch it.
We are approaching 19 minutes into today's EVA activities as NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams continue to communicate as they make their way over to the first task of the EVA, which is to remove and replace the rate gyro assembly unit number 2 that has been given the command to be powered down in anticipation of this remove and replace. And this is all part of the ISS assembly maintenance and upgrades for today's planned 4 tasks. This is the first of those 4. That is astronaut Nick Hague in the red stripes moving into position with Suni Williams closely following behind as the International Space Station currently in an orbital nighttime.
Crossing over each other. I see it here in front of me.
And there's a great look at Expedition 72 Commander Suni Williams with Nick Hague just above her on the truss of the International Space Station, translating across that truss to begin work on the rate gyro assembly unit number 2 replacement.
I'm over on the seated cart, Jeff.
A-firm, Suni, you're going to head out to the starboard seated cart, and once you're there, you can stow crew lock bag 1 on any of the seated cart square grids. We're going to have you do an APFR task.
Okay. Look.
Hey, Jeff, I'm at 3519 for the location.
Awesome. Yep, you're going to stow one end of your mini workstation RET on that handrail for the failed RGA, and then you can continue moving down. You want to avoid contact with that S0 aft face radiator as well.
And I see the shiny surface. Got a good hook down on 3519 with one end of the RET. Their end is free.
Cappy Nick, your next step here is going to be to open the RGA-2 thermal shroud. As you move down, you're going to be peeling that port to starboard and then releasing the Velcro from under handrail 3520, which is that handrail where your work site is.
Yeah, good work.
Okay, getting the lock bag is connected. I'm just getting it off of me.
Cappy Suni, let me know when you're ready for words for the APFR relocate.
I'm ready for words.
Okay, you're going to relocate the APFR from the WIFX that's currently in WIF 1, and you're just moving the APFR only to WIF 4.
Okay. Got a tether on it.
Copy.
So just the APFR WIF 4, which is the one on the top. Wait. That's the one in the middle.
WIF 4 is going to be the one on the top it's actually going to be port side of the starboard seater cart.
Yep. Port and hop up.
Yeah, A-frame, that's a good read back. And then you're looking for a clocking of 3, and then I have the other settings for you when you're ready.
Clocking of 3.
23.5 minutes into today's EVA, you're seeing Suni Williams adjusting the portable foot restraint systems in preparation for today's first task of US EVA number 91, the removal and replacement of rate gyro assembly number 2. For Suni Williams, this is EVA, her 8th spacewalk into the vacuum of space, nearly more than 18 years after her first. As for Nick Hague, this is his 4th, and he will be seen in red stripes on his suit. His first since August of 2019.
No.
Okay. Net handrail 3520. All eyes open. I see our RGA. Going to work on temp stowing our RU bag.
Yeah, copy, Nick, that you're down there at 3520. You can attach the other end of that pre-staged RET to the failed RGA now and get that off your mini workstation.
All right, they got the collar to move, Jeff. Maybe I'm not getting it far enough.
Copy, Sunny. You're getting the collar to move, but just to understand, you're not able to pull the APFR out, like the paddles aren't depressing.
Yeah. I think I have to get to the black line to the yellow line. Wait. I'm not getting it over there. It's not allowing the paddles to be depressed. Interesting.
Yeah, copy, Sunny.
If
the collar should be all the way black on white or black on yellow in this case.
Yeah.
And I copy, Nick, about the RET. You can temp stow the large ORU bag on that S0 wedge face now.
Work. I don't know if you could see it in my HECA, but that's as far as I can get the collar.
Yeah.
Not all the way to the white.
Copy, Sunny. Actually, it looks like we might have bumped the HECA there, so if you could turn that back on, we'll see what you're looking at.
Yep, sure. Yeah. You back with me?
You there?
We're back with you.
Sunny?
Okay.
This is NASA astronaut Suni Williams configuring a portable foot restraint outside of the International Space Station in preparation for today's first task of U.S. Spacewalk number 91. We heard earlier on the comms that her partner in this EVA, Nick Hague, has reached the rate gyro assembly, which will be removed and replaced, and that provides orientation data on all 3 axes of the International Space Station.
Are you ready for me over there?
No, I'm still temp stowing the ORU bag, so you got time to troubleshoot.
Yeah, Sunny, we don't have a whole lot of good workarounds here, but the feedback that I'm getting is just trying to get that collar rotated all the way, and like I see you going back and forth on the collar as well, trying to get it loosened up, and then just making sure with the WIFX also kind of moving with you a little bit that we're staying as perpendicular to it as we can as we're pulling out.
Yeah, if I can get the paddles, I'll definitely do that, but I don't know if I can get that collar all the way over to the white.
Yeah, we copy.
It's right to the edge.
This is a live view from astronaut Nick Hague's helmet camera as he looks onto the rate gyro assembly as he prepares for the removal and replacement of this unit. The priority task of today's EVA is his partner for today, and Suni Williams continues to configure that portable foot restraint. And there you can see Williams just outside the truss system of the International Space Station continuing to work with that foot restraint.
Sunny, one last recommendation here. If you can try to rotate the collar to as far as you can get it with one hand and then squeeze the paddles with the other and just see if you get any motion in the paddles at all.
I don't get any motion at all. The collar's definitely not in the right place. I don't get the paddles to move at all.
And just TCV of 5.
Copy, Nick, TCV 5.
We had any problems with this one before?
So the locking collar won't even rotate on you?
Now 30 minutes into today's EVA activities as you are seeing
And there's no side loading?
Expedition 72 Commander and NASA astronaut Suni Williams continuing to work on the portable foot restraint just outside the truss system of the International Space Station.
Yes, Sunny, we're thinking through it down here as well.
Williams in constant communication to troubleshoot with the team here on the ground with NASA astronaut and spaceflight communicator Jessica Whitner.
All right, Sunny, with that, it sounds like this APFR has given us trouble in the past, so you're kind of confirming something we may already know. That said, at this point, we're just going to leave it where it's at, and if you can just put it back in its original config, black on black, and then we'll get you inside the truss.
Black on black.
Copy.
And that is a live look in from the helmet camera of NASA astronaut Suni Williams as she was just communicating with Jessica Whitner, the spacewalk communicator for today's EVA, on the portable foot restraint. As her and astronaut Nick Hague prepare for the removal and replacement of the rate gyro assembly number 2 on board the orbiting laboratory.
With the integral lid tether, and then we can get you working on the RGA.
Okay.
And Sunny, for you, we're going to have you ingress the S0 truss right there through phase 1 at bay 2 and to access those RGA bolts. And then I have a caution for you not to translate on the radiator heat pipes inside the truss, and then also avoid contact with the Z93 painted surfaces.
Okay, copy that. Coming in. All right, Nick, I'm on the other side, as you can probably see.
Yep.
Get myself in position.
See some light? In Houston, you'll probably see little flakes of Z93 off this basement unit. It's like it's liberating from that same spot that was missing some before. Edges are crumbling off.
Yeah, Nick, to confirm, that's on the new unit when you open the bag, correct?
The new unit, A-firm.
All right, Nick, I have my BRT down on 3507. My waist tether down on 3527.
Great.
Place here.
Just there's enough rigidity in the bag lid that it stays open without having to restrain it open.
Okay, copy, Nick, about the bag, and we're going to go ahead and proceed. So when you're ready, we can work to demate the connectors from RGA2, and Sunny, you can help as well if you can reach the nadir connector. But there's two connectors, nadir and aft, and we're going to disconnect both of them and just get good inspection on FOD, pins,
I can
EMI.
reach the nadir. My hand right on the nadir one when you guys are ready. Go ahead.
And we are ready for you to disconnect.
Over center.
Looks like good release. Over center.
This one goes towards me.
Towards you. Yep. Away from. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Away from you. No, you were right. Towards you. I see it moving. It comes straight out. It looks like it's turning sideways a little. Try pulling back on the. No, you got it.
Okay, I see no FOD. That's an EMI band.
Good EMI band.
Let me get down and take a look underneath. Get my head in there. As far as I can tell, oh, that looks good. No FOD. My band. All looks good on this field.
Good. And I'm gonna move down. Okay. Just removing my electrical on that outside. The red's right in the way. And good pins. DMI band. No FOD. Good connector.
Copy, those are good inspections. So, Nick, if you need to, you can release those TA clamps. If you don't, you just want to restrain the connectors clear of the work site.
And that's enough to do. Perfect. That's good. All right.
Okay, and once that's good, both of you can get out your PGTs, and we'll work to release these bolts.
Good work. All right.
37 minutes into today's EVA with the great side-by-side view of NASA astronauts Nick Hague on the left and Sunny Williams on the right in their helmet cams as they work on today's top first task, the removal and replacement of the rate gyro assembly number 2, which helps calculate rotational rate data and the rate of change of the orientation of the International Space Station and helps better calculate that orientation. This rate gyro assembly number 2 originally installed back in September of 2009 as a part of STS-128 and Space Station Assembly Mission number 17.
Copy. For both of you, the RGA bolts can be released and installed simultaneously and in any order. Just prior to that last bolt, just make sure you guys are ready because the RGA will be free after release. When you're ready, you can...
Copy. Like we discussed, Sunny. Go ahead and let's do the first one, Simo. I'll make sure that get the bolt. I'm in a good spot.
And for both of you, we're expecting 10 to 14 turns, and you can release bolts.
Okay. Torqued out.
And a great view there of the tools being used to release the current rate gyro assembly unit in preparation for the removal and replacement with the backup unit.
And guys, for order of ops here, we have Nick, you releasing both of your bolts on the aft side, and then Sunny holding on the last bolt to have Nick stow his PGT so he's ready to take the RGA.
Okay, our bolt is out.
Okay, I'm working on the lower one now.
12 turns.
Copy, Sunny, 12 turns on the nadir bolt.
Okay, 12 turns on the Zenith, 11 turns on the nadir aft bolts. So release.
Copy, 12 and 11. Nick, you can stow your PGT and then prep just to take the RGA out of its location once Sunny drives that last bolt.
Yep. Okay, Sunny.
I'm on the last one.
Yep, I gotta put this PGT away.
Ready for me to continue?
And bye.
And then Nick, for you, I have a warning. There is a pinch point. You want to keep your fingers clear of the gap between the RGA handle and the truss during RGA removal and install.
I'm not done yet. Ready?
Yep, I'm ready for you to release.
Okay, 11 and 11. Sorry, 12 and
Right now. Okay.
And a great view there of the release of that rate gyro assembly number 2 from the view of and perspective of NASA astronaut Suni Williams, who just released that last bolt, and it's currently in the hands of NASA astronaut Nick Hague just across her field of view. And the replacement unit, this RGA number 2, will help calculate the rotational rate data of the International Space Station. For Suni Williams, she is currently inside the S0 truss of the International Space Station, which is quite near the midway point of the backbone of the structure of the orbiting laboratory.
Cap removed, good pins, no FOD.
Copy the inspection.
Cap removed, no FOD.
Copy, good inspection. And Sunny, if while you're waiting you want to set up your PGT for the install, the settings will be Alpha 6 clockwise 2.
Alpha 6 clockwise 2.
Now 43 minutes into today's EVA and the first planned task of the remove and replace of the rate gyro assembly. The assembly unit number 2 has been removed from its original position aboard the International Space Station on the S0 truss, essentially the midway point of the backbone of the orbiting laboratory. And you saw from the helmet cam of Nick Hague, the NASA astronaut, that he was beginning to uncover and bring out the replacement unit that will go in its place. And this is a view from Suni Williams' helmet cam. She is inside the truss system and will await the arrival of that new unit. And there you can see Nick Hague just across her field of view as they now begin to move the new rate gyro assembly unit into place.
Sunny, we're going to drive the bolts to hard stop 9.5 to 13 turns. And Nick, for you, those settings were alpha 6, clockwise 2.
The alpha 6, clockwise 2.
Okay, lower 16 turns. Actual 8.8. 8.3. 16 turns, 8.3.
Copy, Sunny. We heard 8.3 and 12 turns. Can you confirm green light on the nadir bolt?
Light on the nadir bolt.
Copy. Thank you. That's good bolt.
And my nadir bolt is installed. Got 13 turns. Actual torque of 23.3. Green light.
Copy, Nick. Nadir bolt. And Nick, if we can have you verify,
4.4.
we want to verify that you're not in the Bravo setting still. It just seems like the torque is a little higher than we were expecting.
Yep, I was in Bravo.
The zenith bolt is 12.4 turns, 8.5 on the torque. Green light.
Copy, Sunny. That's a good bolt for the zenith. You can stow your PGT and hold for a second.
Okay, working on the last bolt. The 6, Sept.
And Nick, if we can have you pause for a second, we might have you back out that lower bolt.
Okay. Got one turn on. Pausing.
That's fine, Nick. We'll just have you hold there. Copy you on your one turn.
In a position for the connector. I was wondering, because I was like, Gimpy girl.
Kicked a lot harder than I was expecting.
About that APFR.
It starts easy and then just hangs up hard, or does it just kind of slowly build up?
Stopped.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, I have some words for you. So we're going to go ahead and back off that nadir bolt 1 turn. So you're going to set Bravo 6 counterclockwise 2, and then just looking for 1 turn, and then we'll reset and drive to our stop.
Bravo 6, counterclockwise 2, 1 turn only.
Good readback.
Rise. One turn.
Copy. We're going to set now Alpha 6, clockwise 2, and then you can drive to hard stop.
Alpha 6. Clockwise 2 is set.
Can I start working on the nadir electrical?
Yes, Sunny, we're just going to have you stand by until we get this bolt drove.
Okay, Jess, I got good green light, 6.2 actual torque and 1.03 turns. That's the wrong setting. It was on Alpha 4. Me to hit it again to raise it to the 0.3.
Stand by, Nick. We're talking. And Nick, you can just switch up to Alpha 6 and then do it one more time for us.
Okay, Alpha 6 is set.
Just over 50 minutes in today's EVA task, as you hear and see the work being done by NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams on attaching the replacement unit of the Rate Gyro Assembly Unit number 2 that measures the rate of angular motion of the International Space Station, making sure that the torque and all the proper settings are correct for this replacement unit.
Just good green light, 8.2 on the actual torque, additional 11 turns.
Copy, Nick, and can you confirm green light?
Good green light.
Copy, that's a good vote. You can stow your PGT. And Sunny and Nick, we are go now for the NZGL connection. So again, just looking for a good inspection. And then Sunny, if you want to work nadir, that's P678 to J671.
Okay. Inspection before.
Good inspection on my connector. Pins, no fog to the EMI band.
Copy, Nick, and you can connect the aft as well. That's P680 to J673.
Copy. Made it over center.
Copy.
Made it over center on the nadir one as well.
Not quite over center.
Copy, and to confirm, the TA clamps are still closed.
The clamps are closed. We're still working on the nadir.
Push that? You can push it from your side?
Yeah, I'm going to reach in.
Your confirmation of good bolts to connect the new rate gyro assembly unit to its new position in the S0 truss of the International Space Station. And now NASA astronauts Nick Hague, which that is his viewpoint that you are seeing on your screen now, alongside with his partner for today's US-91 EVA, are connecting or reconnecting the rate gyro assembly.
It's still got to go up, so if you can just push on the back shell up as hard as you can. Almost there.
Boy. What are those two sides look on that?
The sides?
Yeah. Is there any gap in between them?
There's no gap. It looks like the soft dock was aligned. We've got the back shell most of the way up. Just a smidge short of
Over center.
Yeah. I'm going to get rid of this BRT closer.
Over center now.
There you go. That's it. That took no force once you got it there.
Yeah. I had to get upside down to do it.
Outstanding. So they're both made it over center, Jeff.
All right. Awesome work. All right, with that, guys, the RGA install is complete, so we're moving over to cleanup now. Sunny, you can egress the truss and check your safer handles down, and then you're going to go retrieve your crew lock bag from the starboard feeder cart.
Work.
Nick, for you, we're going to relocate the bag ret from the spare RGA to the failed RGA zenith of you.
Good, copy that.
And Nick, once you do that, you can then disconnect the other ret that's on handrail 3519, holding the failed RGA, and then stow the failed RGA in the lower U bag.
Sonny.
Yep. All right, you got the moon behind you too. I'm gonna keep moving.
Got it.
This is Mission Control Houston. As you heard, the first task of today's spacewalk is now complete. The replacement of a failing rate gyro assembly, RGA number 2, has now been replaced with a new healthy unit. That task completed at the 56-minute mark into today's spacewalk. And the Attitude, Determination, and Control Officer here in Mission Control has been given the go to power up that new unit. Nick Hague and Sunny Williams, almost an hour into today's spacewalk, will now stow the old rate gyro assembly back into the airlock before they press ahead to the next pair of tasks.
in which they'll split up, with Nick Hague conducting the installation of patches in the nicer telescope payload on the outside of the International Space Station. Suni Williams will be working on the zenith side of the station to replace a planar reflector, one of the navigation tools on the zenith side of the International Docking Adapter, to which the Crew 9 SpaceX Dragon transport vehicle is currently docked.
Copy, Suni. Can you check that your safer handles are down? I don't think we heard it.
Yep, sorry about that. Okay. Safer handles down.
Copy, Suni. And before you get moving as well, we'd take a glove and hap check.
Yeah. Left safer handles down. Ups are nominal. Hap is dry.
Just to reset where we're at the 1 hour mark into today's spacewalk, the 273rd, in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. You're hearing the voices of the two crew members outside the station, Nick Hague and Suni Williams, and our spacecraft communicator here in Mission Control, that is astronaut Jessica Whitner.
Under the empty on the port gift card.
And hey, Nick, for you, we saw you just put the failed RGA in the bag. Did you see any flakes from the failed RGA come out of the bag or anything when you did that?
No, I haven't noticed anything coming off the failed. The only thing I've noticed is the stuff coming off what we put in. And since I pulled it out, I haven't seen anything hanging around in the bag.
Okay, Nick, copy. And if we could just have you hold there for a second. We're talking about the RET configuration in the bag and potentially making a change to reduce the amount of flakes that may come off of the failed now.
Hold here.
And Suni, for you, I do have APFR settings when you're ready.
Okay, stand by. Okay, the bag is connected to the APFR. Put the RT on. RT RET is on the APFR as well. What are my settings?
Copy, Suni. The settings for the APFR are going to be November, Kilo 1.
November, Kilo 1. I think I'm going to I'm going to move it off of this engine first, where I set settings. That's okay with you? Down here in the heads and the bunch of stuff.
Copy, Sunny, if that works for you.
Just over an hour and 4 minutes into today's EVA, and there you see a great view of NASA astronaut and commander of Expedition 72, Suni Williams, making her way away from the S0 truss, which the rate gyro assembly at number 2 had just been completed with the remove and replace of the old unit to a new one that has just been approved to be powered on. And then also in that field of view, you see the SpaceX Dragon for Crew 9 off into the distance, as both Suni Williams and Nick Hague will stow the old rate gyro assembly unit here shortly before continuing on with today's planned tasks. And those tasks will include the removal and replacement of a Harmony Zenith planar reflector, which is actually close to that Dragon spacecraft, as well as the installation of a neutron star interior composition explorer patch, or the NICER X-ray telescope experiment, and prepare the alpha magnetic spectrometer patch panel for future upgrades.
All right, remind me just this pitch setting here. November, push in, unlock, lock.
And from saying November is correct.
November is locked. What's the other one?
Kilo 1.
Kilo 1. Good.
I have a large ORU on my BRT.
Copy, Nick. Large ORU on your BRT, and can you confirm the thermal shroud is closed?
Working on it.
Copy.
Trying to get the BRT on ORU before I have to on my safety setter getting the wrong way.
Copy, no problem.
Are you seeing HECA? Out of curiosity?
Yeah, affirm. I see your HECA now.
I've got the Velcro down on 3520, working my way up the I saw too.
All right, that looks good, Nick. When you can, perform a glove and hap check, and then we'll get you translating back to the airlock. It's Sunny for you. Once you get the APFR set, just verify the pitch knob's locked and can be depressed.
Pitch knob is locked and can be depressed. Yes. In its correct setting, I'm going to put it on my BRT.
Copy.
Pedals are locked on the BRT.
You should be able to seat down. Elias in a good config.
Hey, firm, Nick, we're looking at your HECA, and it looks like a good config.
Great communication there between NASA astronaut Nick Hague as well as the teams on the ground. The confirmation of a good power-up of the rate gyro assembly at number 2, the replacement unit that was just recently completed by NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Suni Williams together. as they are starting to receive data and shortly receive data of the angular motion that it will measure of the International Space Station about its 3 different axes.
As on the GPS antenna, after it leads off, continuing down phase 2.
Okay, Nick, where are you right now?
Phase 2 coming down on phase 1. I've got the ORU bag.
Okay. I'm just getting my VRT and my filler bag and the APFR behind me.
Okay.
And I'll start moving.
I see your safety tether.
Okay.
And Sunny, it looks like we lost your HECA again, if you could see if that powered off.
Here we go.
And for both of you, good news, RGA-2 is up and running. We had a successful power up. Nice work.
Excellent. Great.
Under the MT?
I'm just on the upper side of the lab.
And Sunny, I think I hear you're translating now. We just want to make sure we're pressing the seat cart brakes.
Right. With something else. That's called, Jeff. Sorry about being moving around too fast.
Hey, I'm on the seat spur.
Wonderful views from the helmet cam of NASA astronaut Nick Hague as they are translating from the S0 truss on the International Space Station about the midway point, the backbone of the International Space Station, and you can see the curvature of the Earth below him. And there is the Quest airlock right in front of him as he moves to go and stow the replaced rate gyro assembly number 2. As for NASA astronaut Suni Williams, she is making her way to the space-facing side of the Harmony module in preparations for the next task for today's EVA, the replacement of a planar reflector that is used for visiting vehicles in their approach to the International Space Station.
Press 2 times. Deport 1. Sorry, starboard 1.
Copy, Sunny. I think I copied. That was the starboard seat cart brakes.
Get the port on first. On the starboard 1.
I'm at the airlock. Thermal cover's open.
Copy, both of you.
I'm on the strip and down to the left.
All right, Sunny, I have a couple words for you while you're translating. A few cautions. As you head outboard, you want to avoid contact with the deployed CBM pedals, grapple pin, target, and shaft. And then you also do not want to translate on the WETA stanchion.
Okay.
And then lastly, as you...
Remind me the handrail I'm putting my green hood on?
Yeah, Affirm, I'm about to give that to you. The lab handrail 0272, it's going to be the forward in cone of the lab just above the cable tray.
And there you hear the communication to NASA astronaut Suni Williams as he continues to move along the International Space Station en route to the zenith or space-facing side of the Harmony module, in which he will begin the second task of today's EVA after completion of the rate gyro assembly number 2, and that is to remove and replace a planar reflector. And that planar reflector is used among a variety of communications devices for visiting vehicles to measure distance and rate of closure.
And Sunny, I know you're still translating, I think, but maybe when you get to that green hook location, if you could check your HECA. We're still not seeing anything down here.
0272 is locked. Press the button again. Hook is down. Black on black locked. 0272.
Copy your green hook, Sunny.
I'm on node 2.
Affirm. See you moving on node 2 now, or hear you moving on node 2. We're still working to get your camera view up.
Artillery bag is on the airlock, large, small, that we moved by BRT red. Starting the airlock bag bundle.
Copy.
Have the crew lock bag on BRT red. Good hook. Now the airlock.
Copy, Nick.
Do you have my HECA yet?
Unfortunately not, Sunny. We're still working it down here. If you are making your way over there on the Zenith side of PMA, I have some handrail numbers for you if you need them. Otherwise, we're looking for PMA 3 with 5 for the APFR install. And Sunny, we just have one more request for you to just check that camera one more time for us. Sorry about that.
The camera again? I have a green light.
All right, we copy, Sunny. You're seeing a green light.
I'm at the vertical handrail right now. I'm PMA 3. Not on it quite yet. I'm still on the front of node 2.
Copy, Sunny. Thanks for the updates. Nick, once you are ready to start translation, we're looking for glove, hap, and safer handle checks.
Got it. Lock bag is on my BRT, closing the thermal cover. Thermal cover's closed.
Copy, thermal cover closed. And Nick, can you just confirm that you did leave your PGT in the airlock? I don't think we heard that clear.
Oh, I did not. Let me do that.
Copy, good checks.
Remind me of the clocking.
Sunny, we're looking for clocking of 10.
That is on the single line.
Affirm, that'll be single line clocking of 10.
Still checking. Okay. 10, November. One. Let's get the other. Close.
Now 1 hour and 19 minutes into today's EVA activities and the completion of the first task of 4 assigned to NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams, and that was the removal and replacement of the RGA-2, the rate gyro assembly number 2 unit. And you saw the helmet cam of astronaut Nick Hague placing that worn out unit back inside the Quest airlock and the crew lock, as NASA astronaut Suni Williams continues to prepare for what would be the second task for her today, which would be the removal and replacement of the planar reflector, and that'll be just outside the zenith or space-facing port of the Harmony module that's currently occupied by the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft that brought Crew 9 to the International Space Station. And that planar reflector, one of many communications tools used for visiting vehicles on approach to the orbiting laboratory to help measure the distance and rate of closure.
And Suni, we do have a big picture view of you from the lab starboard camera, but we're still working on your HECA.
Okay, I am here. I have the lock bag is still on the APFR. APFR is installed. I'm on the front of PMA-3 and below Dragon and everything. My head is way below it, so I am ready for the next words.
Copy, Suni. We're just looking for good words, black on black, full twist test, and the pitch knob can be depressed for the APFR.
Okay, black on black, good pull wiggle test on the APFR. Pitch knob can be depressed, yes.
Okay, thanks for that. You can unbundle your crew lock bag now from the APFR, and you're going to want to stow that on your BRT. And we just want to make sure your BRT is nice and snug and will be away from Dragon when you ingress with the crew lock bag on it. And Suni, we also have a request for you to power cycle your HECA when able.
Again, I have a green light.
Copy, power cycle complete. And Nick, for you, it looks like we lost your HECA as well, so we'll take the same thing if you can power cycle your HECA when able.
Got it. Is off right now.
Great communication between NASA astronaut Suni Williams and astronaut Nick Hague with the ground team here inside the International Space Station Flight Control Room as they continue to prepare themselves for the second task of today's EVA. The view you see here is of Suni Williams as she prepares herself for the planar reflector remove and replace. And you heard that communication, making sure that she is properly tethered and safely attached to the International Space Station.
With that, when you're ready, you can begin your translation out to S3, the Bay 1517 interface. We're going to head up to NICER.
Got it. I'm leaving the airlock.
Copy, Nick.
Sonny, I just left my fair lead in. I think that'll help you when you come back to the airlock.
Okay.
I don't know if you put a fair lead in, but it's at the base of the fuse for.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
Real quick one.
And Suni, while you're working your crew lock bag there, I have a couple more cautions to read to you. You want to minimize contact with the contamination at the planar reflector work site, and then you want to avoid contact with the glass on the planar and hemi reflectors themselves.
Okay.
One.
Right, Jeff, I have the crew lock bag on me. I actually have both of the adjustables on my mini workstation to sort of keep it away from everything floating around as well. So, should stay away. Next to my left side. Are we ready for some pictures?
Okay, Sunny, that's a good config with your bag, and we are go for photos.
Okay. Remind me exactly what you want.
Yeah, we want, jokingly, everything there. We're going to look for the visible dragon surfaces, the planar and Hemi reflectors, best effort on those because they're kind of under the nose cone, the IDA and PMA hardware, and then anywhere else you see any of that contamination. And Nick, we're still not seeing your HECA as well for your assay. We don't have a great camera view. I do have a green hook location. We saw the power cycle. We're troubleshooting on deck, but I do have a green hook location at mile marker 5460.
5460.
Good readback.
This is Mission Control Houston as we continue to bring you live coverage and updates from today's U.S. EVA number 91, currently being operated by NASA astronaut and commander of Expedition 72, Suni Williams, who you see in your field of view here. Suni is now preparing for the removal and replacement of a planar reflector used in communications for visiting vehicles to help them measure the rate of closure and distance as they approach the International Space Station. You also just heard communication between the ground teams here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room and Nick Hague, who you now see here translating or moving across the truss system of the International Space Station in preparation for his next task, as he and Suni Williams will be working simultaneously on different tasks. For Nick Hague, he will be working to patch the nicer payload and install patches of that nicer payload. And that is an X-ray telescope experiment that studies neutron stars, black holes, and other phenomena. Unfortunately, due to just time and degradation, that has allowed sunlight to interfere with the X-ray measurements during the daylight time as the International Space Station orbits around the Earth. So these patches that Nick Hague will be providing will help reduce that light pollution coming from the sun, and that it can return back to near full strength during daylight hours.
Stay on PMA, you can move around and take photos.
Yes, I've got a green hook down at 5460.
Copy, Nick. Green hook down on 5460. You're going to stow that crew lock bag number 2 now on S3 handrail 3021. It's going to be the short handrail on the zenith edge of face 1 just above you.
All right, Jess, should I try to get in the APFR? You ready for this?
And Sunny, we actually have a couple steps for you ahead of time, but we're also on that lab starboard view, seeing your feet get pretty close to the CBM pedals. So if you can watch that a little bit.
Sorry.
And so we want you to actually configure the PGT rad and just have it on your swing arm, so we don't have to get you back out of the APFR to do that. And then we have you remove the 6-inch wobble socket from your PGT as well and put it on the socket caddy prior to getting into the APFR.
I have that way at the bottom of my tag because I wasn't anticipating we were going to do that. All of that's at the bottom. We're going to have to yard sale it all out to. You want to do this? Really? Questioning.
Yeah, Sunny, we're talking it down here. Just stand by 1 second.
And if I need to translate over so that I can get in there, hand it to you, I can. I'm trying to minimize in and out of APFR.
Okay, Sunny, we were talking it over down here, and we think we don't actually need to configure the rad for this. If we end up needing it as a contingency, we'll just configure it later. That said, we're still going to have you remove the 6-inch wobble socket from your PGT and stow it on the socket caddy.
And a great view from the helmet camera of NASA astronaut Nick Hague as he continues to prepare for his second task of today's EVA. And you can see floating off just past that left hand of his, those are the wedge-shaped NICER patches that he'll be inserting into the NICER experiment, the X-ray telescope that helps study neutron stars, black holes, and other phenomena. And he will take those wedges and place them strategically in certain spots on the NICER to help reduce unwanted sunlight from penetrating the X-ray telescope.
No, totally understand. No big deal. And once you get that socket off and in your trash bag, we have a request to have you just turn off your HECA, and we're just going to leave it off for a little bit and then try again later. We still don't have good view.
I just turned off the HECA. Let's see. No light. My light.
All right, Nick, we have your HECA back, and I see you unbundling the NICER caddy. When you're ready, that's going to go square scoop to the inner bayonet fitting on your swing arm.
I'm about halfway through. Not. We did that intentionally.
6-inch wobble socket is off of the PGT. PGT is swung back in. Socket is going into my trash bag.
Okay, copy, Sunny. Socket in the trash bag. I have a warning I'm going to have to read you, so avoid contact with exposed IDA and Dragon hardware. And then just one last check to make sure mini workstation, tools, tethers, BRT will all maintain clearance prior to getting in the APFR. And then while you check that same, we're just going to hold here for a second while we talk it over prior to giving you the go. And Sunny, you have a go to repower your HECA now.
Okay, mark. Okay, green light.
Copy, green light.
An hour and 35 minutes into today's EVA as we continue to follow along with the progress of NASA astronaut Nick Hague as he prepares for the NICER experiment and the patches of the X-ray telescope that studies neutron stars, black holes, and other phenomena. And these patches will help shield and prevent unwanted sunlight from interfering with the X-ray measurements. This telescope has 56 X-ray concentrators, and each one of those concentrators has a set of nested mirrors. Well, over time and wear and tear of this experiment has allowed for unwanted sunlight to enter the telescope, thus not providing accurate data during the daylight passes for the International Space Station. So what Hague will be doing is taking the caddy that you heard mentioned just a moment ago that has those patches. He will insert them in select spots around the NICER experiment to allow for its maximum capability both during the night and daytime passes to continue to measure those phenomena.
And active caddies on my swing arm. Flat hook.
All right, copy, Nick. You can continue translation to NICER on ELC2. And I have a warning, avoid contact with the sharp edges on NICER star tracker hood and Fram clevises.
Yeah.
And Nick, while you're translating, I have a couple other cautions to read too, since we have a moment. Once you get up to NICER, remember you want to avoid any contact with the reflective film, so either hand or tools. Avoid loads into NICER in station forward direction just to prevent it from becoming unhooked. And then allow any motion to dampen out prior to each interaction with NICER. And you can also use that closed fist once you get up there, or flat palm if you do need to react against the face of NICER while you're setting up your work site.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sunny, we're troubleshooting HECA still down here. It looks like we were getting some good data, but give us a couple more minutes while we troubleshoot and take some photos.
No problem.
And 1 minute to hand over. And Sunny, good news, we got your HECA camera back on the big screen. So after this LOS, we'll be back with you to give you the go.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, Sonny, I'm on LC.
I see you.
And we talked about putting in that fair lead. I don't think it's going to be necessary.
Okay.
You're going to have plenty of translation room. You needed it.
and 40 minutes into today's EVA with NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams as they continue to move along with their scheduled tasks for this extravehicular activity, number 91, and the 273rd for International Space Station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. They have completed their first task, the priority task for today, and that was the removal and replacement, the R&R, if you will, of the rate gyro assembly number 2. And now the two astronauts are preparing for the second task of the day, in which Suni Williams, she will make her way over to the zenith port of the Harmony module, and near that she'll be removing and replacing a planar reflector. And those planar reflectors, as you can see here and illustrated by NASA Flight Director Nicole McElroy during the briefing last week, and who is on console today leading the EVA, she'll be replacing that black portion along with the 3 bolts to loosen and replace it as it has become contaminated due to visiting vehicle traffic. So they will remove those 3 bolts around that black portion that has a reflective material in the middle there, that silvery middle portion. So she'll reflect that as it is a part of one of many communications tools used by visiting vehicles to remove or to measure their rate of closure and distance as they are on approach to the International Space Station. And for Nick Hague, he is translating his way over to the NICER patch experiment, or the NICER X-ray telescope experiment that has 56 aluminum X-ray concentrators that capture X-ray light that help measure neutron stars, black holes, and other phenomena that has been since worn and contaminated by sunlight and allowing unwanted light to enter the experiment. And he will translate over and install patches for that NICER experiment.
And Suni, for you, just to repeat, you have a go to ingress the APFR, and you just want to use ingress aid only and just maintain that body clearance to Dragon at all times.
And there you see a great view of the NICER X-ray telescope in front of NASA astronaut Nick Hague, who will install patches and those circles that have each compartment with wedges on the inside for those patches. There's 56 of those, select ones identified by the NICER experiment, and the team on the ground here, both in Houston and across the country, have identified areas where unwanted light is entering, and that is what Hague will be identifying and patching up so it can return to its full capacity.